So now we have come to our last question. So now I'll start with Robson. Can you state one experimental success and one experimental failure, and what did you learn from each one of them? I'll go around the room and ask everyone, but you can go first, Robson. It could be from, you don't have
Okay.
to tell the company name, but just tell us what the experiment was. What did you do? Did it succeed? If it's a success, you can tell the company name. If it's a failure, you can hide it. No?
Okay. Uh, I'm proud of the failures and success because you get to learn something from the failures too. But I think a single experience has the two sides of the coin. Uh, Once I had to create hypotheses from observational data on what would be good remedies or interventions to give to people that suffered a bad experience. For instance, Venkat purchases something, it was supposed to arrive tomorrow, and it took like 5 days. It's a bad experience. How can we aid Venkat so he doesn't get mad and give up buying with us? But the thing is that you have a story and you don't have the intervention. So how are you going to get a sense of, okay, what are bad experiences that hurt the user, and how I could aid this person to avoid churn, for instance. So, well, this project is called Low Value Actions. We are trying to design experiences to say, hey, bad things happen and it's your fault. What can I do for you? Take this voucher or get an apology or get 20% discount in the next purchase and those kinds of things. And I think that the failure here was not being able to look at the why of the project. Again, I'm talking about the why. Why are we doing this? Not because we don't want to get extra revenue, but because we are willing to pay, like from our pockets, for you not to go away. Of course, there is a revenue in the question when you look to the lifetime value of the client and you don't want to churn. It's not that the company is noble and wants you to stay just for goodwill. Uh, but the failure was that it took several months for me to derive hypotheses from the data when we should derive hypotheses from the causal thinking of, well, how much are we have available to spend on those people, and why do we want these people to stay at the end of the day, and what are the bad experiences that should never happen here, and we are ashamed that they happen, and we are willing to pay for the person as an apology. And the success there was that at the end of the day, with the help of the business, and I say this because I'm used to think from a statistical perspective, and in the past year and a half, I learned a lot about thinking as a business person, as a bit like an executive. I learned on how to create the hypothesis, test those hypotheses, get buy-in, and now the project is being rolled out to not as a policy, a final policy, but as an experiment to the other countries of Latin America. And hopefully, at the end of the day, it becomes a policy. And when something happens to my wife that buys a lot from Mercado Libre and she gets like an apology or a discount, I can say, hey, I helped developing this product that is implemented there.
Yeah, your wife will be definitely happy. Yeah, great. Really great examples, Robson. Thanks for sharing them. Ishan, yeah, what are your experiences? Yeah.
Uh, I have not run A/B tests in the traditional sense of marketing or feature development, but I would want to say one thing that after building the stats engine at VW, and we really hope that we could finally get to a state where stats will be able to automatically take a decision in every context that will add all the factors and will have SRMs and everything so that you given all the signals, there can be one module that tells you that, okay, go ahead and deploy this change or don't deploy this change. After going through all the research and implementing the reports and stuff, I think we learned a lot, but what we realized was that stats is very contextual. So that was a larger experiment. I realized that it is not something that can be reduced to a decision ever. It is something that only the client can, probably the experimenter can put in context and take a decision. So that was a larger experiment that we led through, but it did not work out. But there were a lot of learnings and failure as well. Yeah.
Great. Joshua, I'm sure your career spans longer than ours, and you must have a lot of experiences of both the success and failures. So if you can, cite few of them and your learnings, that would be great.
What I have is a lot of experience in failures. So, well, that I always like to talk about my experience in a major failure, let's say, because it's very counterintuitive, and and I would like to hear the other opinions regarding that. If others have a contrarian opinion about what I'm going to talk, I am more than happy to have a one-on-one with with him or her, because I was like 2 years. Do experimentations, or most of the time live test with different techniques, from brand leaf to geo leaf, and so on, regarding personalization at the scale. All the people, I mean, if you read all the corporate literature in the last, let's say, 20 years, you should have better results with personalization than without personalization. My learnings from more than 20 experiments is personalization at the scale doesn't work. When you try to do branding campaigns for a massive brand, personalization at the scale doesn't work. And it was a failure because we repeat and repeat different tests all the time to demonstrate that personalization at the scale works, and personalization is better than non-personalization. And what we learned was that personalization at the scale doesn't work. At least in the, I mean, I want to be humble, in the conditions that we run those experiments, let's say. But with the conditions that we run the experiments, this personalization doesn't work. When you want to create like an idea in the minds, not of 100, but 10 millions, personalization at the scale doesn't work. It works better when you provide the same message to all. And we have created like, not only, I mean, we deep dive on that with not only different creative, but different ways to optimize the bidding in the campaigns and so on. Because I mean, not all the hypotheses, but we run a lot of experiments. So that should be the biggest failure, because we spent like, I don't know, 2 years trying to demonstrate personalization at the scale. At the end, the answer was no. And in terms of the good news regarding that is, just because the amount of tests that we did trying to demonstrate something that it was wrong, we can create Monte Carlo simulations. So you can, I mean, with the library of experiments, we enable practitioners create alternative setup of campaigns, and try to be more efficient every time that, so you provide the let's say the final outcome that you want to have, and regarding and given the results in the library, you can run alternative setups and choose what is the better for the final outcome that you want. But that was an afterward results.
Again, a really insightful example, Joshua.